Good evening, and welcome to another horrific review. I'm joined once again by Dale as we continue the journey of Sir Peter Jackson's filmography. Tonight we're covering the classic Bad Taste. Released in 1987, this is Jackson's first feature film, a science fiction comedy horror where we see aliens invade the New Zealand town of Kaihoro and find stock for an intergalactic fast food chain. This film was made on a budget of 25,000 New Zealand dollars and took 4 years to complete. Part-time, by the way, so you can do it even if you've got a full-time job and you've got a project. It's doable. Welcome back, Dale. This is another it's gonna be another fun
Hello.
one. We nearly started rambling there before we were due to go live. Hope everybody's hearing us okay. Let's just do a wee test to make sure that sounds coming out, because do you remember before we got into this and people were like, oh, can't hear. Right, let's go. Right. I'll tell you, speak Dale.
Streaming. Are we streaming? Hello.
Oh. Speak Dale.
Mic test.
There we go.
Yo, woo.
Happy.
That was me, all right.
Happy days. There we go. Everything seems to be working. That's a good start. Get there eventually.
Yay.
Oh. Oh, Chris is on. Everything sounds good. Fantastic.
Hey. Hi, Chris.
You've never seen this movie? Oh my God, Chris, you need to rectify that immediately. This is an absolute bloody classic.
What?
And once again,
sleeping under a rock. Chris, you've been sleeping under a rock. How did Evil Dead go for?
It's not. Well, he's not traditionally a horror fan. We've kind of roped him in to the world. You have to see this movie. Honestly, it's just one of those absolute classics that you can watch 30 odd years later and still be like, yay! And the question is that we're going to ask every time: how did Peter Jackson get Lord of the Rings?
Got no bloody idea.
How do they watch this? How do because you know what the studios are like? It's not us. It's the studios are so stuffy and stiff-necked and boring. And Peter Jackson's mad. He's a madman. I love him. He's an absolute lunatic.
He's awesome. Yep, classic lunatic. His brain. Wow, he must have a phenomenal mind.
But what he's been able to pull off part-time.
You'll enjoy it, Chris. Trust us. You'll enjoy it.
In fact, see this one before Dead Alive.
Watch it while you're eating. Just don't watch it while you're eating.
Yeah, it's not as hardcore as Dead Alive.
No,
it's
nice pace.
This is this is just easy and gently. So yeah, maybe watch these in order. But yeah, the whole setup of this, we see the phone call, the radio call, and we're now on this. What is it? Some secret government base or office? We'll have AIDS, right? Okay, the Astro Investigation and Defense Service. Like, you wouldn't get away with that today. Oh, there's Gabby's on.
Hi, Gabby. A mate who watched the movie.
This is this isn't making it. You know what I mean? This is a pleasure, honestly.
The acronym for AIDS.
Yeah, like you wouldn't get away with that today.
No, definitely not.
Twitter would go mental. They'd be like, "Ban him!"
Oh yeah, ban him.
Horror directors seem to transition well into sci-fi fantasy. Sam Raimi did a great job of Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2, the operating theater scene with Doc Ock was classic Raimi. I think that's where he pushed the knuckle into like a mainstream superhero movie, didn't he? Do you remember the scene where he just wipes out the entire operating? Like they're trying to operate and remove the tentacles from him.
No. Did you say
Spider-Man 2?
Spider-Man?
Sam Raimi, like a classic horror director.
Sorry.
All right, okay.
But I don't do that Spider-Man stuff.
Well, this is back in the old days. You know what I mean? Back
right.
when,
Okay.
this is God, when was this? Is like 2006 or something.
Wow. Okay.
But that scene, he did all three. He did all three of the Spider-Man movies. He did a trilogy of with Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, what's Spider-Man? The first one?
Right. Well, the second one features Doc Ock, and there's a scene in the operating theater, and that's just classic horror movie. Like he took it right to the knuckle with blood spurting and everything.
Really?
Like, yeah, in a mainstream horror movie, a mainstream superhero movie, and he goes full Sam Raimi for that scene. It's like, yes.
Oh my crikey! Wow.
Yeah, he did. He really pushed the envelope.
Sounds like it. Gosh. So Peter Jackson's not the only one that pushes those boundaries.
Oh no. That's what I mean. He took Lord of the Rings seriously. That's the thing. He couldn't have asked for better. Really.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't want him to get involved with superhero stuff now because it's on its way out any roads. People are sick of it, and I've been sick of it for years.
Yeah.
But if he had to come in, if he had to took another character like Sarah, who could he have taken? He'd have done a good Venom. I think Peter Jackson.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
If Sam Raimi did Spider-Man, Peter Jackson did Venom, and then the Met. Oh god, that would have been something else.
Yeah.
Never happened.
No.
I don't think Hollywood. I think Hollywood would have broke. Imagine those two getting together on a movie, like a bunch of, and then bringing all the horror nerds in, and Hollywood just sitting there going, "Oh, we don't know what to do."
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Oh, crazy.
But anyway, back to this movie. Yeah, like this is proper humor. And obviously, as New Zealand and Britain, we're UK, we're quite close in sort of, I think, sense of humors. Like, I remember watching this as a kid going, yeah, brilliant, words I understand.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I think we'll really have to talk about this one. It's on its own because Peter Jackson plays two characters in this. And if nothing else, he is wasted as an actor.
Oh.
I don't think people realize. I think people only understand Jackson from later stuff, more recent stuff, but a bit older. But you see him actually acting in these movies, and it's not an ego thing. It's, well, we need an actor and can't afford to pay an actor, so I'll do this one. Oh, we need another actor and I can't afford to pay the actor, so I'll do that one too.
Yep.
Necessity.
Absolutely. I mean, how hard could it, what a challenge to play two characters at the same time.
And direct it and do the special effects.
And do everything else, yeah.
Like,
it's funny because I didn't recognize him the first time I saw, Derek. I thought it was Peter Jackson, and then I'm like, no, there's no way they can have him upside down off a cliff and then so no, it must be his brother or something. But when I read the credits, I was just like, wow, it really was him.
No, but that was so, like, you think about it, that's 1987, didn't I say? 1986?
Yeah, 1987. Yeah.
1987, right? So this is all shot in film because even that they give credits to the film cutter, which you don't see anymore. So that was a person that actually splices the film and puts it together onto the master reel. Like, you don't see that anymore. Like, that's somebody's job. But yeah, even the editing back in a time with a limited budget and the fact that it's part-time, that it's believable. Like, there's CGI stuff done today that you just don't believe.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you can tell it's CGI very much so. Yeah.
Even that deepfake stuff that they're using now, it's so jarring, you can tell. But there's old school old school video editing, cut shots, and like that scene with him. Like we start off, this phone call comes in from the townsperson in the phone box. We get the government agent, and I just love the whole campiness to it.
Yes, definitely.
AIDS HQ, like he looks like a Bond villain. He looks like he should be the mastermind behind the plot. It's just absolutely hilarious. What do you think the prosthetic was about?
The prosthetic.
Yes, prosthetic with just one finger.
I that was just weird. That was weird. It was weird, and it was bad taste, and it was the plaster. It was just like a foreshadowing of the plaster.
Yeah, the plaster with the cigarette over the top, because he only like if I had a thought of after the Dragon Hong's character who changed his hands for what he needed, if I had to do something like that, but this guy just has one digit so he can push buttons, and then when he wants to do something else, he tapes it. He wants to smoke a cigarette, so he tapes it on with a plaster. You're like, okay, well, we kind of know what type of movie this is going to be.
Yep. Yep, definitely. I think that's a kind of piss take of, New Zealand do-it-yourself sort of mentality,
That's something else that would get... if that was made today, people would go mental. The mob would just go, you're mocking people. I have to use prosthetic. Yeah, it's like, nah, man. No, we used to have a laugh. In fact, humor is the best way for people to come together.
I believe so. Yeah,
and bring acceptance. Yeah. If you can laugh at something and not be, oh, I can't talk about that. That's.
I know.
I think people have missed the memo on that.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole idea of comedy horror. Yeah. Well, sci-fi, comedy, horror. Had a bit of everything. Yeah.
Yeah, you just threw it all in here, but I would say this is definitely a tighter plot. It's more focused. The first effort, so you tell he had the vision and he wasn't straying too far, because this could have just went all over the place. Yeah,
but it was a very straightforward plot, which I was quite happy to have. It was quite refreshing to have just a straightforward plot. Aliens come, they want us for fast food, they go away. It's kind of I kind of like the simplicity of this movie. It wasn't too convoluted that it was like, there were a lot of symbolisms in there that were really, really good, and I think they helped a lot to push the story through. But yeah, I just found it so condensed and really well. Like they had a budget of $25,000, but the New Zealand Film Commissioner,
I think they gave him a grant afterwards for post-production, didn't they?
Yeah, they did about $250,000 to help complete the rest of it. So yeah, they did really well, considering it took 4 years part-time over the weekends and all the buddies getting together. And
full-time job, trying to I don't know, like maybe trying to run a podcast in your spare time. It's time consuming and exhausting sometimes. But the directors put themselves in movies to get a small residual check. Not this level. At this level, I think it's more necessity.
Yeah.
I think later on, the bigger ones and that, when there's no need for a director to put themselves in a movie, it's ego and just greed.
Yeah.
But this...
Not many people do it, though. We have to admit, Stan Lee was one. Peter Jackson's another one who's always cameos in his own movies. I don't really know anyone else.
Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
Of every movie he directs, he sticks as a self-insert.
Oh, right, as the main character, of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like, come on, man. If you're trying to sell yourself as a writer and a storyteller, cast the right people. Like the worst one, he did a Formula One movie. And he is not the build of a Formula One driver.
No.
So you're taken out of it straight away. And the rock climbing one...
Yeah, it doesn't work sometimes, right? Somebody like Sylvester Stallone or these hardcore actors, who direct and then put themselves in it. I think that's a bit of a different kettle of fish. But these little cameos that Peter
Well, sometimes
Jackson
that's a
does.
bit of a nudge and wink. But the
Yeah,
cameo
and
Peter
that's right.
Jackson does in every movie is not himself, but a Morris
Yeah,
Minor.
yeah. It's like
And I'm
all his
trying to
alter
find it in
ego.
Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. I'm trying to see where the hell he's managed to bury, because I'm pretty convinced now he's buried a Morris Minor in there somewhere in Middle Earth. Honestly, I think maybe one of the Hobbit holes is like the windows of a Morris Minor. Honestly, there you go, folks. If you want to go Easter egg hunting, find a Morris Minor in all the Middle Earth films.
Everybody had a Morris Minor back then. If it wasn't driving, it was in somebody's backyard rusting. Everybody had one.
Everywhere.
Yeah,
And he uses
everywhere.
this like a limo. That's the funny thing. When Giles is getting out like a
Yeah,
limo, it's a
yeah.
freaking Morris Minor. You're like, what is this?
Insane.
It's a fleet of them just coming up like a.
I know. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, Jackson's character of Derek, like you see these guys, there's two of them to begin with. They're scoping the town out, and they just look completely ragtag. Stuff's hanging off them, and it's like 12-year-olds. When you get your first walkie-talkie and like you have it in the belt, and they're supposed to be professionals, and just looks like it's deliberate, isn't it?
Yeah. Obviously. Yeah, they were a really funny feature. It was cool. Yeah.
And
It
then
just gave you another sense of the craziness to come.
yeah, and obviously Derek's character is like a mad inventor, scientist type person. And you see, like that's such an 80s thing. Like you'd build stuff with wires and frames and stuff, and that's what used to happen.
Yeah. Do it yourself. Yeah.
I think I've said this before. I don't know to yourself, but when we used to build stuff, like even with computing and stuff, and would like use wires and plug things in, and there'd be a bit of I don't know, inventiveness.
Yep.
Has that all gone now?
Yep, probably.
The only thing I see inventiveness are people actually, content creating.
Right.
Where they're, maybe doing shorts and they're doing a bit that way, but most of it's already built in. Like they're not creating effects themselves. They're using pre-programmed, because you see one video though, and it's using a particular effect, and every video uses it.
Yeah.
So it's built-in software. There's no real, okay, how do I make this thing work? On leads and wires and building stuff. Do you think we need to go back to that or encourage that in society?
Well, it would be good, wouldn't it, if we could? But I mean, everything's just so convenient now. Everything's ready. We can go to the shop and buy something to fix something, or everything's disposable nowadays because they just don't make things to the quality they used to. But yeah, like you said, there's applications, there's all that stuff that you can manipulate movies and create things that I guess, yeah, like it's completely different than what Peter Jackson did with this movie. He just like even with the radios, just stuck everything together, and it just
but even that he's showcasing in the movie what I mean as well, not just for movie making, but I mean people building stuff that like I used to be on the CB radio, so I'd actually got someone to build me a bracket so I could put the antenna up in the inside of the loft, because I couldn't put it up outside the house without doing like major restructuring. So I managed to jury rig it that way and have my two arm sort of coming down through the house, and there's leads and stuff. And then when I was out hiking, we used it for safety. So what I did was I managed to get the antenna coming out the backpack. So once again, I was getting wires and stuff, and having it built into the back, so I could use it and get a better reach.
I guess it depends which generation you ask.
I don't know. It's just my thing.
Gen Z, who what is it? Gen
X.
Z, millennials. Millennials. I mean, they don't do things themselves anymore. They just sit on the screen all day, and like we used to be out there. Right, you're Gen Z X. You're a Gen X, like
I'm an
me,
X.
right?
Yeah, I think I'm an Xer.
Yeah, exactly. So we had to do things ourselves, right? So
that was fun, going out in the woods and stuff, and like camping, and
like
as a teenager we went out camping. We,
Yeah.
snook, we
Camping.
sneaked a few
Yeah.
beers, obviously, you know.
Yeah.
But we still went out in camp. We built campfires, and we, you know, it's all part of the fun. And I don't know, just seeing the way that they put things together and all, just makes me think that youngins are missing that. And I think even if it's not necessary, it can still be fun.
Absolutely.
Because kids, young ones are there just miserable. You know, that's the problem. That's why I think we're always laughing, because we lived life a bit, and we could look back on this and it's full of memories. Like, yeah, that's something I would have tried. You know, like Derek's headset. I'm like, I would have tried to build that. That's something daft I would have done.
Yeah.
But yeah, this whole scene set, and what makes this one completely different as well is normally in an invasion movie or what, it's try to save the town before they get captured. This one's already happened.
Yeah, it was good.
So the deed's been done, and these people are coming in afterwards. And then it's just trying to get... there's a bit of a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference to this, because when they talk about having to go back to the Food Safety Commission to get approval to get a slaughter order, you know, it reminds me of the Vogons, you know, the sort of civil servants of the intergalactic. You know, oh yeah, we want to take over the world, we want to use it for food, but we'll have to get our paperwork done first. We'll have to go see a civil servant and get our 5-star rating. So that would have actually been a fun scene, them going afterwards and then just going, no, only a 2 stars, not good enough. End the movie.
Oh wow, yeah.
But yeah, that's even that as a fresh take back then. That's a fresh take in the whole invasion genre.
Oh, isn't it just the whole thing? Yeah. That still, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
I was thinking along the lines of why, you know, I was wondering why the blue shirts, you know, that why aren't they aliens? But it's the story comes out, you know, that they're in a human form, and
because you think it's just cheap, don't you? At the start, you think it's just going to be a cheap slapstick.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll do this, and we'll make them. And why do they move so stupidly? Oh, this is daft.
Yep.
But we are wrong.
Yep, completely wrong. Yeah.
I think, oh, this is terrible acting, and then even Giles explains it. You know, when you get the whole explainer, I thought he was going to be like super comedic, but he's the one that plays the straight guy in this.
He does play the straight guy in it, actually. Yeah. I sort of got a sense he might have some sort of substance to him. He didn't have much. I think the only time I saw any emotion from him was when he was in the pot with the apple in his mouth. He reminded me of Jeffrey Dahmer, actually.
Oh, no, that's no, Giles is the leader.
Giles is the leader? Wasn't Giles the one in the pot? He was the priest. Giles.
Is that Giles?
No. Yeah, that's Giles.
Oh, flip, did I mix up the characters?
Yeah, well, the commander was the commander. I don't think he had a name, but Giles.
Right. I thought he was called.
Yeah, no, but
The Grand Long.
But that's all right.
Lord Crumb. Sorry, my apologies.
Lord Crumb.
I'm a Muppet.
Yeah, that's it. Lord Crumb.
There's or 3 people playing him.
Commissioner or chief.
Yeah, because it's Crumb's.
Yeah, it's a bit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, Craig Smith. Yeah, Giles. Right, sorry, that's me being daft.
That's all right, daft.
Here, hold on. If I did proper research, this thing might become professional. We don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Ruin the whole vibe of the show.
Oh yeah.
Don't want to be doing that professional stuff. Looking intelligent.
Looking it up and yeah.
Memorizing. Oh, waffle. You know, yeah, that's not this podcast. If that's what you're looking for, jump on to somewhere else. Oh man. Yeah, this escalated quickly. 2 guys, you see the zombie chase, and it just goes bonkers. And like I said, they look slow moving and daft, and you think, is this just bad acting? But no, there's actually a purpose behind it,
Yeah.
and you kind of feel it, even though at first look you're going, yeah, there's something not right here. But then it was the same with the axe, where
Yes.
it's like, I'm confused,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I was like, okay, this is done deliberately. Okay, cool, got it. And I just love the way the guy, I forget his name, the other guy. Frank and Ozzy, not Frank and Ozzy. Who's the other one?
Barry.
Barry, isn't it? Yeah.
Is it Barry? Yep.
Yeah. He's just walking away. He's just like, this is your warning, and he's like, he could just walk up the hill and that would be it.
Yeah, right.
And he's just like, okay, this is your definite last warning now.
Yeah.
And somehow the alien catches up with him, and you're like, nah, that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It was, yeah. It's pretty cool. But what I really loved was they shot most of the, I don't know, a third of the movie off the side of a cliff. I mean,
that was ropey as hell.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, yeah. God,
what is it?
bloody
Tom Cruise is making a big thing now about his stunts that he does. I do my own stunts,
How good he is.
All of Hollywood's going, wow, wow, wow. And then we've got Peter Jackson in the 80s, and they're all dangling off a cliff, running about, and they're like,
with run. Yeah. No net. Nothing. No netting.
Like one fall, that's it. You've goners. And
I was actually terrified watching Derek go up and down that little the cliff towards Robert, going up and down. I was like, oh my God, he's gonna fall off the side of that
even
cliff.
Robert, he was like proper dangling. There's no CGI there.
Down. Yeah. No CGI, no nets, no. I got stuck up on that hill once when I was a little kid, and my dad had to come up and get me.
That very one?
That very one. That very exact same one. Hilarious. I must have been about 10. Yes, it was before the movie was even made. God, weird. But yeah, it's very steep. It's actually quite steep. So yeah, just seeing him do that was like, wow.
Yeah, because some cults are past their like that, and it's like, and they're obviously, and there's blood and there's gore, so it's going to be slippery. They're messing about with props and cameras and getting angles, and yeah.
I'm wondering if there were any little mini accidents during the making of this film, because there was some real hardcore stunts going on in this. And that way, I mean, to film quite a majority of off the side of a cliff is, wow.
The bloody DVD I got doesn't have you've got the option for the commentary, but it doesn't play it. I watched it years ago, Peter Jackson's commentary, of the movie. He didn't mention any accents, but, he's talking about, sort of film up. It was so many years, I completely forgot. But even listening back in the day, this was the Mama Vision, and he's just talking about how they manage their rope stuff together, and just everything done on the wing and the prayer.
Absolutely.
Imagine if Peter Jackson fell off a cliff.
Hoping they don't break their necks. Yeah.
Yeah, God, there'd be no. Yeah, I wouldn't even like to contemplate what happened if we'd lost Peter Jackson back then. So much stuff.
Oh no, God.
But that's, once again, that just shows if you're creative and you want to make stuff, you'll make it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. He had a vision. He ran with it. And he pulled it off. Yeah. Yeah. It's an acquired taste, this movie.
Would you think so? So that's because obviously, like I said, I forget that not everyone's a horror fan, or not everyone's watched like 1,000 horror movies like I have, so what I just taken as normal, it might send somebody over the edge. Would you say this, if somebody's not necessarily a horror fan or new, would you recommend to watch it, that it's okay for the casual viewer.
Okay for the casual viewer? God, are you kidding? No way. No way. They'd come back to me and they'll never talk to me again. Nah, they'll take me off their Christmas card list, definitely. Yeah.
I don't think
Block
it was
me
as.
from Facebook.
I know there's a cheekiness in like some of the language is not a bit fun. And there's like I said, there's near the knuckle references, but I don't think it was that graphic or bad. Maybe because I've seen Dead Alive.
Well, yeah,
I think because I've seen
absolutely.
Dead Alive like recently before this, so this is like tame.
Oh, this is nothing compared to that. Absolutely.
If I had to watch them in reverse order, you know what I mean, I could see the escalation. But because we reviewed Dead Alive first, and now I'm watching Bad Taste, I'm like, well, that's pretty tame. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just taking those two examples, of Peter Jackson movies.
But I think it's I don't know.
But you think that the normal movie-going audience wouldn't be able to handle this?
No, not the gore and the blood and the brain matter and the body organs and no, I don't think so. I would not recommend it to anyone who doesn't have a strong stomach.
All right, okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
This is why you're here, because I'd be like, yeah, this is pretty. This is all right. I'd just like, go ahead. That'd probably traumatize about 20 people.
Yeah, you would traumatize
Yeah, because I'm just like, okay with it. Yeah, because I watched that other one. That was mental, but this is all right. This is... that's my baby.
I wouldn't have recommended the other one either.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not Dead Alive. It's
Yeah.
like, brother, don't go into that. Flip side, take a deep breath.
But this is another one I wouldn't be recommend. I would only recommend it to someone with strong stomach or someone who doesn't mind those sorts of things.
Yeah, exactly. Gabby saying it was tame compared to Dead Alive. That's where my brain is. I'm like, yeah, well, I watched that, so this is all right. No problem.
Yeah, but the brutality of some of the scenes were very hardcore images, if you know what I mean. So yeah, you'd have to be a little bit wary going into it.
Well, I suppose
because there's no holds barred, is it? It's
Derek meets his end.
Peter Jackson in his first three movies, he just let rip. So yeah.
I wonder. I do wonder. Did Hollywood see these movies?
That's a very good question.
Did he keep them secret, and then after he got his contract, and it was too late, then let people know about them?
Oh, I think they would have done some research on him before they gave him that much money to make.
Well, I don't know. Modern Hollywood definitely wouldn't, because they're daft. You say the
maybe
right,
not.
You chant the right slogans, you're in, that sort of thing. But yeah, I like these three movies.
Maybe they think he started at Heavenly Creatures, and then because that was his mainstream.
I think as we go further down this journey, we'll start putting the pieces together. But yeah, definitely these first three movies is like, what the hell, man? This is like, it's funny that there's this term getting bandied about at the moment, extreme horror. I'm sure you've heard it, and splatterpunk, as if it's a brand new concept. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a Sam Raimi and a Peter Jackson fan. What have you got for me? I grew up in Wes Craven. I've watched all sorts of stuff. What's this extreme horror? Just yeah. Fair play to anybody that writes. Obviously you don't deserve the hate. I know it's a marketing tool, but we've seen it. We're talking about one right now. Exactly. But yeah, Derek, he meets his end.
These, you can stomach anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially when you watch them when you're young, you're just like, you're completely inoculated.
I know, this was my first movie I ever watched as a teenager. This is my first horror movie, and I completely forgot everything except for the the chunky side.
Yeah,
of
well,
it.
that's because
The chunky scene.
this thing has the
Mm,
two most classic lines in any movie ever.
it does.
Still remember even like 30 years later, I'm still going, you know, like a wee kid. Brilliant. Yeah, but the scene we're talking about obviously is the aliens appear. They're all wearing blue suits. They're human shaped. They're a bit daft, but they get the jump on Derek, and he just happens to pull out a newsie. The
Can you believe it?
but so he's doing that. He's just going mad, you know. He runs out of rounds, so he just goes to the alien, and the alien acts as if the big shot. You're like,
what was up with that?
nobody showed that scene to Hollywood. Oh, by the way, yeah, I've done a bit of acting myself. You can trust me. You know, flip it. What a legend.
Oh, it's like when we were kids, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh. Brilliant. You're pretending to shoot somebody and they,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it took the alien a second to go, oh, right. I'm
Oh,
okay.
I wasn't shot. Oh, okay.
But yeah, he decides to torture one of them just for fun. And that's what sets this whole thing off. And you're like, okay, you're a bit psycho, son. You're
Just
a bit unhinged.
Yeah. Funny.
It's
classic.
It's
I
classic.
loved
The
his
humans
character.
are worse than the aliens.
Yeah. That character of Derek was awesome. Yeah. Especially when he we got there yet when he falls off the cliff.
Yeah, that's about we're just getting to, because that's obviously what they usually, and they all
Yeah.
jump, and then Robert gets his revenge, you know, because he gets out of the rope.
Yeah.
And then that's it, just splat. Yeah, I think because like I said, I watched this as a kid, watched Dead Alive, so I'm like, this is all right. This isn't too bad. Same words. But yeah, that bit he just cracks his skull. In fact, we don't see it until later, because you basically think that's the end of him.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, all right, oh god, that's a great character. What a shame. Is that it?
Yeah. I thought that was it too.
And then little did we know.
Oh, that scene was really horrible. The
thing is, you can tell it's a mannequin.
Oh yeah,
just the way it falls, but at the same time, it's done so well that you also can't tell it's a mannequin.
Yeah, because it's so realistically done. I mean, of course it's a mannequin. They're not going to throw him off the cliff. But
I wouldn't be surprised, actually, to be honest. The way, considering how mental Jackson and his mates are.
If you actually let us drop you off the cliff,
be all right, honest.
We'll put you higher up in the credits. Yeah.
Or if somebody did fall, they'd probably film it.
Oh,
yeah, we'll get that in there. You know, are you all right, mate?
We'll keep that one. Yeah.
What was the movie I reviewed? Ghost Ship. You know the one about the Nazi haunted ship?
I might have watched it.
Right, it's like proper. It's a great movie. It's proper gruesome. But there's a scene where the guy's been possessed because he's been taken over by the ship, needs a captain, and he kidnaps a girl, and you see him, he's actually got her under her arm, and you can tell it's a flipping mannequin, the way he's walking. And this is a fully funded movie that happened later, where this one is like, you have to do a double take. Like, it is a mannequin. It is. They didn't chuck one of our mates off a cliff. No.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't go grave robbing. But in other movies, like I said, you can just see it so fake. Or I'll say it again. My three least favorite letters, CGI, just completely unbelievable. But that's
it is, isn't it? But people fall for it every time.
But that scene of him just going boink, 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 and then the splat at the bottom. Oh, what was that? Did somebody just throw a bucket up or something?
Oh, I know, I don't know. Oh, God. That was disgusting. It was horrific. Yeah. He landed in a bird's seagull nest. Oh, my
Oh, that
goodness.
was because then we'll get after that happens, and then thingy goes back. We'll basically hear meet Frank and Ozzy.
Yep,
Um,
that's right.
and they're a parody, I think, of Starsky and Hutch. What do you think,
Yeah.
Starsky and Hutch or the Dukes of Hazzard? Or
I was thinking probably the Dukes of Hazzard sort of thing. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe Dukes of Hazzard.
there's another example of
Is that?
they've got the hi-fi speakers in the back. You know what I mean? Just plugged in. Like, and these are supposed to be in a serious mission.
They would have rewired it themselves into it, and yeah, of course, yeah. So it's pretty accurate.
It's not even that, but that used to be a thing with people's cars. They used to build their own sound system. That was the whole idea. Who had the best sound system, who could build it, not
That's
who
right.
could buy it. Do you think that's
Yep.
something? We'll do a wee bit of social commentary on this as well, but it just makes me wonder. I love modern technology. I love the internet. The fact that we can sit like both sides of the globe and do this
Yeah.
as if we're in the same room, that's brilliant. The fact we can reach people and talk and all this is available to us, love it. But at the same time, the reason we got here is because people invented stuff. And I think there's a reason why we're not inventing things anymore and we're almost going back. Because not even kids, but like young teenagers, early 20s would have built stuff just for fun. Young blokes would have done things, I guess, to the car. Sometimes it blew up. That was, caught fire, didn't work, but that was part of the fun. Now
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I'll order it. And if it doesn't
Yeah.
install in the first click, I don't know what to do. And I'll give it a 1-star review if it doesn't.
Exactly.
And I do worry.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the way things are, isn't it? It's just what happens with the advance of technology, and things are faster for us to order than they are to make ourselves. And I don't know, you have TV shows where people are doing up cars and, all that sort of thing. So some of that's
Kids
still
that are, yeah,
going on, I guess.
they are
For the
lazy.
older
Gabby's right.
generation.
Yeah. No, Gabby's saying kids that these days they are. There's not even a days like I work with young ones or young ones and the flipping. I'm an old knacker bag and I can outwork flipping youngsters in their mid-20s and like hitting 30. I'm like, you should be blowing me out of the water.
Yeah.
Why is it
Right.
able to do like a full 8-hour, 10-hour shift?
Oh, they
And
want the money, but they don't want to work for it.
but the point I'm making as well about this, people did this for fun. It wasn't because they had to. You could have a stereo in the car already pre-built, but the whole point was the inventiveness. Like I said, we're seeing the speakers in the back. It's just they did it because it was a crazy thing to do, and they thought it was cool, and there was a sense of fun about it. And I don't know how. Like honestly, try it, folks. Get your kids like a bunch of stuff and tell them to make something. Just doesn't matter if it works. Just the whole point of getting hands on and doing. I remember telling folks, and it's when I managed to plug in. What was it? The NES, the Super NES, into my PC.
Oh, yeah.
So I managed to get it wired into the
Yep.
PC so I could play it on the PC screen rather than having to get a separate TV because I didn't have that much space growing up. And people won't even realize, but a 17-inch monitor was like took up an entire desk on its own because it wasn't just that; it was flipping that.
Yeah.
Flat screen technology wasn't available, so that plus a TV wasn't happening. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I remember getting this days and flipping, doing stuff and what was it? Installed a TV card and got the controllers so they worked out of the box because you could pull out the ports and stuff.
Yeah.
Because even these ones now, they're a bit sort of plug and play. They're not the same, but you have your slots for the extra. You could have like 3 floppy disk drives and stuff, so you actually were able to get the controller into one of those.
Wow.
So you could disconnect it and actually have a controller port, so you could put the cartridge.
Yeah. My goodness. It's actually quite brilliant that Peter Jackson, I don't know, sometimes I think he was a time traveler or something. He knew things we didn't know, him even showing those speakers, and then to where we are now is that, those speakers in the back of the car would never be made now. We just can't be bothered doing that. We just go and pay somebody at the stereo shop to now go put a speaker in the back or a subwoofer or whatever, so I mean things like that, him doing the homemade made up RTs, it's like, how did he know to specifically focus on those little elements that now are so different? That's what I
don't think I think that's how the imagination gets sparked. Somebody has an idea, and that's why I say art is so important. And film is a legitimate art form. And it does, people try to brush it off, but it is how we shape society, because somebody has imagination, they show the imagination, and then somebody else gets inspired. And not just filmmaking, obviously other art forms as well, but I'm just saying that that's what it takes. If somebody goes, that's a mad idea, that could never work, but I'm going to find out if it can, because I saw it in a movie, and then that's where somebody gets their hands on something, and that's where it goes to the next level.
Definitely.
But we're not going to the next level now. We've kind of stagnated, and we're almost going backwards.
Yeah. Weird, eh? Interesting.
Yeah, I just hope people see this, not even necessarily this live stream, but I mean, the likes of these old movies and stuff, and actually get something. Because I think that's why the 80s themes are so popular with TV shows, that's because there is a yearning for that.
Yeah.
But
the
I think
uncensored version, the undiluted version of things.
Yeah, don't watch 80s themes. Go and actually watch stuff from the 80s and see where the whole crucible of, because it's not just this, like tons of movies where people threw stuff together and like special effects. And when we did we got slapped in the wrist by the Oscars for showing one of our clips. They did a copyright claim.
I heard.
For American Werewolf in London, right?
From 41 years ago. Jeez.
But it just showed. But the point that I actually was able to show from that was horror led the way in terms of effects. It's the horror creators that actually were the mad scientists.
Really?
Yeah, because when they did that, whoever it was doing the compare, he was given the award through gritted teeth. Like, and these horror movies. And then they tried to compare, like, the same era, mainstream movies. And they weren't even, it was night and day. Horror movies and the level of inventiveness that went into the effects versus mainstream movies is just nothing even close.
No.
There's something about horror that brings that out of people or attracts that sort of, inventiveness. I think that's why horror's managed to stay fresh, because there is still that with the horror genre.
Yeah.
And I think the horror genre is the first now to go back to practical effects, because they've realised that the CGI, and especially digital blood, looks awful.
Just not working.
So they're going back to independent movies like, nah, we're doing a practical. I was talking to a guy, Gene, there on Saturday, and he's the same. He's like, practical effects, might do a wee bit over the top, but no, practical all the way, because it just looks awful.
Yeah.
That's sort of sanitized stuff, just doesn't look good. So there's hope there. If nothing else, the horror genre will keep waving the flag, and we'll save humanity by being sick and twisted individuals.
Yeah. It's morphing, isn't it? It's kind of fluid. It's going up and it's down, and it's,
But this movie, though, it's a quick movie. It's, it's a good pace. And
it is.
We'll go from, obviously, them and meet Frank and Ozzy. They come tearing in. The manage to do, this is one thing that modern movies can't do, and that's time scale. Because they were out of about 20 clicks out of the village, and they actually were able to make it feel as if there were 20 clicks driving in.
Right, yes.
Where you have movies today, and it could be a continent away and arrive 5 minutes later.
Yes, exactly.
where you actually get the scale of time of them traveling by car.
Very well done.
And even stopping to put the roadblock up.
Yeah, exactly.
That'll fool everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. That was, It was another one of those taking us on a journey, sort of, not just dumping us in a scene. Yeah,
yeah, because they could have easily had them to arrive in the next scene, but they didn't. They took their time to get there.
Took us along with them. Yeah, it was great.
So I'll give Barry a chance to still go look about and find out what's happening.
Yes, that's right.
And then we'll go back to Derek again.
Yeah.
Because we'll find out very quickly we're not finished with Derek.
No, thank goodness. Yeah, he carried the horror throughout the whole film. Just with that little...
Yep. But I'm going crazy as well. Talking about the birds was fun. Because like, who's going to look after us Avery now? Birds are the only thing to connect with. And then the seagulls are just like...
ironic. Very ironic.
Yeah, but this is a clever script. Again, it has this veneer of, crude slapstick comedy, but it's not. There's actually a clever script here. Again, everything's timed right, and like I said, even seeing them driving in and then just making that quick quip straight into the next scene.
Yep.
But why the seagull hit? Because Derek comes to, and first thing he does, sinks a nut into a seagull. It just poof. You're like, what the hell?
Who headbutts a seagull? Oh no, seriously. They shit everywhere and they eat our fish and chips.
Oh yeah.
That's why we don't like them. We call them flying rats over here.
Yeah, even in the UK, like seaside towns are notorious. There's a place I used to pass through all the time called Dumfries. I was traveling back to Northern Ireland from the northeast of England. You always stop there. It was like a stop off for lunch, take a break. And honestly, you bring anything out food wise, they're snatching it out of your hand. They're just super aggressive.
They're a menace. Yes.
I warn my mum. She doesn't believe me. Like, don't let she's got shih tzus. It's like, don't let them out on their own. Bloody seagulls are flocking. They'll go for them.
Yeah.
It was alright. She was minding my dog for a while. My big lad, and he's a big beagle, so at least he could chase them away. But the two shih tzus hadn't a chance.
Oh no! Yeah, they can be very nasty. So, yeah.
So you know fine well that bit of the bridge, along the riverway is just nightmare. Honestly, Dumfries has other things going wrong for it, like padlocks in the toilets, so the drug deals can't happen. It's a bit of a rough wee town, but it had a good piano bar. I remember it was a decent piano bar, which was a fun night out.
Oh, cool!
It's a wee towns are fun, but yeah, seagull. But even the effects he did for the seagull as well, because the seagull's just there and the two legs are giving him that. You're like,
oh, God.
That's mad. Like, I don't think anyone else put as much effort into a scene like that.
It would have been, yeah, you're right. You're right.
And I think that's what sets Peter Jackson apart from other directors, is that he put as much effort into the little details.
Yes.
The little blinking you miss them, probably had like half a day's effort to create an effect, but it works.
Absolutely.
And then when you go to the bigger stuff, you're ready for it. But it was all those little details, and then we'll have to talk about it now. I think we're there. The crack in the skull, the wee lever, and his brains fall out the back. Like, brilliant.
It was brilliant.
I remember what age was I when I was only like 10 or 11 or something. I was only a young nipper when I watched this in VHS.
My God. Oh my goodness.
And I just God's sake, just remember going, I'm going to do some. Yeah, I was 10. There you go. 10 years old when I first got introduced to Peter Jackson.
10 years old. Oh my goodness.
That's how loose the law was. Very loose back in the day because we could rent this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think what happened was you go to rent it,
I
and
was
sometimes you
12.
get and sometimes in the video store you get somebody go, "No, you're too young for that," and I just go, "Mom, Dad, they won't
Yeah.
let me rent this," and then they go and rent it, and so I think there was just this aspect of just giving up, going, "Well, yeah, what's the point?"
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
the rules lawyers weren't about. You didn't have the same, uh, little civil servants, the ones that get around trying to bubble people. That wasn't enforced as much, and I think it was better times, honestly, because I'm still okay. I think I'm better for it. You see people now fall apart at the slightest thing, but
Oh, absolutely. I
I
know.
think horror and watching things, I guess, and it's ridiculous. That's people now can't suspend disbelief, or they can't tell the difference between fantasy and reality.
Yeah. Mm.
I never went into a horror movie thinking it was real.
No, of course not. Of course. Especially when you're a kid, that's exactly why you watch it. It's because
Yeah,
you're telling yourself it's not real. Yeah.
exactly it's not real. And then when other kids were like afraid of the dark and there's monsters in the club, was it? I'm like,
Yes.
okay, if you're there, come on, we'll hang out and we'll, I didn't have that.
I know. My brother actually introduced us to Bad Taste when we were 12. Um, but seriously, I would not let my children watch it now, you know, unless they were older, much older.
Mm-hmm.
But no, even my 13-year-old boy, I would never let him watch this sort of gore,
Really?
even horror. Yeah. I worry for their fragile minds. They're so young. Their images can bring on sleep paralysis, night terrors, all those
But
sorts of things.
we did it.
I know, right? I don't know.
This is a
I
good.
don't.
No, that's actually a good topic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where did the switch get flipped? Is it internal or is it
I became
society?
a mum. When I became a mum,
Yeah.
I don't think it was society because I know a lot of people who let their 12-year-olds watch horrors.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it's when I became a mum, I started to change certain things. Like, yeah, so one of those is not letting my children watch horrors until they're old enough to really be able to process it, if you know what I mean, because it is a really intensive. It's not like watching a comedy or a
Mm-hmm.
cartoon. I mean, I think because the world's gone a bit mad, that I'm really a bit worried about letting my children see imagery like that, if you know what I mean.
Mm.
They know I write horror. They know I watch horror. They do watch a little bit of some. I mean, they watch. Come on, there's
What about Universal
bloody
Monsters?
exactly. That's right. That's right. That's where I'm like getting. Oh well,
So
it's a
let's
bit of
let's go. Okay, so the Universal Monsters, like there was no real gore, and they're the classics. You're happy for your kids to sit down and watch those. Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi, uh, Cheney Jr. I'm not
probably
putting you on the
not.
spot, by the way. It's just interesting, to.
uh, I'd have to be very careful what they watch.
Would you? Is it because you haven't watched them recently?
There were some pretty old ones out there that I like, Frankenstein or whatever, or Dracula,
Mm-hmm.
maybe those, but the stuff that's out there now and Peter Jackson and all
No, but
that
that's
sort
what
of
I'm
stuff.
trying to say. Right, that's what I'm trying to. I'm trying to find the
Yeah,
line. Do you know what I'm saying?
I
At what
think
point? So let's go right back. I know this is kind of
I
going off
think I
topic, but that's
watched
what.
horror too early. I watched horror too early, I
Yeah.
think. If you know what I mean. I think I watched it too early. I would say 15, 16 is a good age to start watching horror.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say from us being 10 or 12, I don't think, I want to keep their childhood as innocent as I possibly can before we lose that 1 to 10-year-old gap of them, and then they're turning It's not that I'm saying horror is a bad thing to watch. I'm just saying the imagery is quite
So this
severe.
is I'm not saying, oh yeah, no, you should set them down. You know what I mean? We're just having a conversation at the end of the day, just to get the. So what I'm trying to ask is, where is the line? Is it when it gets grabbed? Like, okay, so Peter Jackson's early stuff, no, right?
No.
And it's even adults were saying is no. if you're not a horror fan, no, don't. You'll
You can't
break.
stump it.
Sorry.
Don't watch Yeah.
Okay. Good thing you're
So-
here, because I'm just like, yeah, crack on. It's all fun. Yeah, you have a laugh, but then I end up traumatizing someone. Right. So the likes of like I said, the Universal monsters, the old school style. Would you watch them first to refresh yourself and then decide?
I would definitely. Oh yeah, absolutely. If there was something yeah. Even my daughter wanted to watch Wednesday as an example.
Right.
She's 9. So we watched a bit of it and decided, oh, there's too much adult themes in this now.
I didn't enjoy that.
Yeah. So
I honestly
here I
thought
was
that was depressing. That that character was not like, if you get her to watch the Addams Family.
Well, that's right. We did. That was better. That was way better.
Yeah. That,
Family friendly.
the
old,
fact that
black and white.
flipping Morticia and Wednesday hating each other, and that screw Netflix. Oh, I hate Netflix.
See?
I've
Oh,
not even subscribed anymore. I did have an account years ago. My niece let me on hers. Then they brought this thing in, and I'm just like, do not pay extra money. I don't even watch the bloody thing. So even though I had access to it, I never.
never watched.
In fact, it was one of your comments on one of my streams. Remember, we had this conversation, but you were in the live chat.
Oh, right. What was that about?
You were mentioning about how they categorize horror, and I'm like, well, I don't even bloody watch
Oh.
Netflix because it's.
I mean,
it's a crap platform.
They can't categorize a fly. Seriously. I mean, I've had this discussion recently with somebody about categorizing a horror, so I'm just going to use Netflix as an example. There's one shootout scene where somebody gets shot. That's classed as horror. I'm sick of it. It's not. It's a psychological thriller with one scene of horror in it. I'm over it. Yeah.
No, they're
just,
like I said, and there's other stuff about Netflix. I don't like they like kids a bit too much for my liking, in the wrong way. Yeah, they're a wee bit. There was one other. They had a movie on there. I didn't even review it. Freaky, it was called, with Vince Vaughn.
All right.
And that was right. There was proper like grown men, teenage boys, and you're like, they're trying to do it through the lens of body swap, and you're like, no, mate, that's not what you're doing. You're trying to justify. They're like the modern BBC, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. I really would worry. In fact, I wouldn't let kids watch Netflix. Well, I think there's more dangerous stuff than horror movies on Netflix. I think Netflix is a dangerous platform for kids.
Oh, yeah. Oh, where'd you go? Oh my God, my cat. There you are. Hold on a minute.
Oh, once again,
sorry.
Hello, Kitty.
How do I make this bigger? Oh, my cat.
You're still streaming anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, I would honestly, I would have concerns about kids watching Netflix at all.
I mean, what about anime? That's supposed to be for children, but it's
no, it's
adult.
not. No, it's not.
Horror themes.
There's different, there's different anime. There's kid stuff and there's adult stuff.
Yeah.
There's actually proper horror anime.
Yeah.
Junto Ido Psycho has stuff pure horror.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Attack on Titan, pure horror.
Yeah.
I mean, there's stuff there
that's all on Netflix, available for the kids to watch.
Yeah, but it's the kids shows as well. Like I said, I don't think it's a good platform. I think it's a dangerous platform. I think they're. I don't even want to say on this because.
Yeah.
Right. I would not be happy if I had young kids now. I wouldn't want them on that platform.
No, definitely not. Not by themselves without parental
Yeah,
guidance. No.
and it's not for the horror stuff.
Anyway.
It's for the stuff they aimed at kids.
Yep.
I've concerns about,
Yep.
like cuties.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's like,
So,
ugh.
yeah.
But yeah, but that's interesting. Interesting though, because like scary stories, that's if you shield, it's one of the things that if you make something unavailable, it becomes more alluring. And it's that whole thing of, well, if you do that, do they go and look for it in the wrong way, and then do they jump straight into like their first movie becomes Terrifier, instead of watching the monsters?
Yeah, I think they've already had a taste of it from, their cartoons with demons and dragons and mythical creatures and aliens, and that's already sort of captivating to them anyway. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I guess, yeah, it's just the gore factor and the imagery that I worry about. That's all. But
Well, as we know, not every horror movie is a slasher.
no, of course not. It's
So
on a
I think
spectrum,
it's down.
really.
Yes, I think it's
Right?
down to about just common sense, due diligence. Check it out first.
Yep, yep,
What I
yep.
would never say is, oh, ban kids from watching any horror. Because
Oh
that's
no,
a blanket
no.
statement. And that's when we talked about the censorship of horror. When we had that debate,
Yeah,
discussion on the topic. That's where it's that fear of, oh, it's all gore and stuff, so ban it, and anything that says horror, just ban it, and that patronizing, sensitive message and stuff. You're like, no, that's
that's too
way
little.
too much
That's
the other
yeah,
way.
yep, absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, no. Yeah. It's a difficult one sometimes, but definitely you don't want to ban people from watching things. You don't want to stop your children from doing things that, they might go and do behind your back. So
Yeah, without your support. So,
yeah,
and then if something
that's
goes
right.
wrong, they can't speak to you,
Yep, exactly.
and that's where that's the important thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it
We all
is.
make mistakes, but if you don't have that, can't speak to your parents, flipping, that's it. I think that
Yeah,
does more damage than anything.
absolutely right. Yeah. Mm.
But anyway,
Yeah.
on the happier stuff, we've got where do we get to? Right, yeah. So Derek comes back alive. He's cutting about the place, and then at the same time we see Giles. He's arriving. The music in this,
Oh,
is mad. It's just, and it's all tailored.
absolutely, to every scene, right? It
Yeah,
was
it's not
really
just
well
generic
done.
horror. Another thing that annoys me about modern horror movies is this generic music that doesn't actually fit in. Some of the Shutter stuff they put out, it's just this,
Right.
bah, everything's and you're like, then you just become switched off. But this did
Yeah.
all the little comedic jingles and the horror jingles and the daft jingles, and it all just, it's almost like somebody's sitting with the keyboard as the movie's playing. That
Yes, yes,
that's what I was thinking. Like a silent movie and somebody's got the piano,
yes,
a live
absolutely.
pianist. I honestly get the watching this movie. I think somebody's there with the keyboard and actually just playing along as the movie's going,
Yeah.
and it's not just shoved over the top. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean it's like
No,
intuitive.
absolutely. I really loved the music. It was so bizarre. And I actually downloaded the theme song because from the Remnants.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Oh,
I
bad
loved
taste.
it.
Yeah,
Bad Taste, the song is brilliant.
mm-hmm.
So I shared it to my group yesterday because it's such a brilliant
And
song.
they play with that
But
song as well, because the sort of
yes,
chop it and jingle it, and they make it horror, they make it comedy,
and make
and
yes, yeah, absolutely. Well done, well done. Yeah,
yeah, a lot of fun.
yes,
But that was a good plot device actually, with the bread, the charity, that all these
yep.
leaflets have been put up the doors, and the fact that these government guys going, oh right, the collector will be coming to pick these up because it's the state. The fact that was a plot device to introduce the guy coming in
I
was so
know.
clever and
Oh,
so understated.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, brilliantly done. Yeah.
Once again, what I'm saying is, movies today can't get time scale properly done.
No, you're right. Oh God, sometimes they're all over the place. I lose completely the whole story, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they timed everything really, really well to be believable, which
Yeah,
is
so
good.
you'd actually believe that they were at this point, they were traveling in, this is the date, so this was going to happen, and they actually had you, that you were fully on board, and I'm like, why can't people do that? It's right there, and it didn't cost millions to do.
No, exactly right.
Because
Yeah,
everyone talks now about the budget. They think the budget's everything in the movie. It's like, no, a wee bit of thought.
yeah. And I think it's also because I see them all getting together, as mates and family members, and they're all deciding to make this really awesome movie. But then you get Hollywood movies where, a Hollywood actor decides he doesn't want to come to California, so he'll do his shooting from somewhere else, or, they're not all together at the same time in the same place, sort of thing. There's no camaraderie. There's no
Yeah.
sort of, yeah, you know what I mean?
I could not
Where,
be. Well, I don't have it. Do you know what? I'd love to do a movie someday if I got the right people around me. But I couldn't be a Hollywood director because the first time I hear that a star is in their trailer, mowing down their tree, refusing to come out, I'd be straight that trailer. I'd be kicking them. You know what I mean? I'd
yeah.
be booting the backside of them. You're being paid, blah, blah, do your job.
Yeah, exactly.
I
It's
wouldn't
not hard to
last 5
make a
minutes
movie,
because
right?
I would crack up because that's one thing. Tardiness I can't stand.
Yep.
You can forgive a lot of things, but tardiness and just basic make proper arrangements, turn up on time. It's basic respect to someone.
Absolutely.
If you've made an agreement. No, same as like people can't even turn up to work now on time. Somebody put a flipping stupid video about what was it? They're trying to make up a condition that you can't turn up on things in time because you're basically a lazy arsehole. I'm like, what?
What?
Yeah,
Really?
they've come up with some nonsense term for it. But why should I be expected to turn up for work on time when I've got insert bullshit condition? Now they're trying to call, and you're like, you need a kick in the arse.
Oh my God.
You need thrown off a cliff, 6 times.
I'll drive you.
Yeah, for fuck's sake. I'm just like, oh. That's what I'm worried about the world today because they're not building stuff. Build stuff for fun, and you won't be like
They're
that.
not using their brains. They're not. They're too busy getting everything. I mean, you've got watches that tell you when to eat and sleep. Oh my gosh.
I can't do that. Oh, talking of watches.
Yeah.
the synchronizing watch scene in this. So
do they do that on purpose or?
Yeah, just so obviously the guys decide they have to get tooled up, and they're what do you mean we'll have to wear the gear? That's goes into a bit of an action movie.
It does.
But they're actually taking the mick out of it while they're doing. Oh, what do you mean we'll have to wear this? The boss said we'll have to when we're going to go shoot people, we'll have to dress up so they can't see us. Oh, all right then. They all dress up in the black gear. I always wanted to get those 24 SAS slashes from when I was in just to wind someone up.
Yeah.
And probably, do you know what? They wouldn't have got the joke. I don't think. Yeah, because there's not many.
Think so.
They wouldn't have, if I had a stuck those on. They wouldn't have got the joke. That was something I'd love to have got made up, just for a laugh. And actually, when it was on, just wear them on dead brain. It'd be worth getting. It would have been worth getting an extra duty for. It would have been worth getting the extras for just to do it once.
Oh, crazy. Yeah, I didn't miss it this time. I saw the SASs, yes.
Yeah, but you know the joke, don't you?
No.
So, right, there's no, right, obviously there's 2-1, 2-2, 2-3 SAS and Australian SAS. So It's like New Zealand going, hey, what about us? That's how clever he is.
Oh, right. Okay. All right.
We'll be 2-4 SAS then.
I see.
It's a bit of a Commonwealth in joke. There's loads of Commonwealth in jokes in this, and I just love it.
Oh yeah.
That's people forget about our family.
Yes.
That and these were all like the picture of the Queen.
Yeah,
at the
the
start.
beginning.
And then, like I said, when the 2-4 SAS slashes, I'm like, oh god, I get it. I was laughing at that because
Gotcha.
and then obviously
Oh,
when they're doing the synchronized the Charleston die watch, I'm like, oh dear, that didn't age well.
oh my
Do you remember back
God.
like in the 80s they were the power couple? Everyone like they were forever.
Yes, they were absolutely. Then look what happened.
Like even Andy and Fergie were like secondary.
Yes.
Actually, you're seeing it play it out now. You know what I mean? You're seeing the whole Wills and Kate and Harry and Methane, playing second. They don't like playing second fiddle, but yeah, Charles and Di with a couple, and then Andy and Fergie were like second fiddle.
Yes.
It didn't matter if they split up. That was all right. Nobody cared. But when those two split up, that was the end of the world. People lost their minds.
They did. They did. It was devastating. Oh, we still think about her over here.
Mm-hmm. It's
Diana.
shame, like
Yeah, but good
that's,
homage to them in the movie.
yeah, but I just love the in jokes, because at the moment everything's just full of bitterness and spite. There's too much bitterness and spite now, where Peter Jackson kind of shows happier times. This movie shows it wasn't about controls. We're all linked together, and it was all just a bit of fun and stuff. And
yeah,
like I said, I miss that positivity. You know what I mean? I miss that in movies today. I'm sick of the absolute nastiness that's just pervades today, and you can't have a laugh unless you're turning someone down. That bores me.
Oh my God. I watched a horror last week and I can't even remember the name of it because it sucked so badly. They had about 6 producers, no writers and no directors, and it was the worst movie I've ever seen. So all this stuff about the writing guild and the actors on strike and all that. Wow.
Yeah, but
better get them back.
Oh yeah, they're in starvation wages of $1,000 a day for part-time work. And they're afraid of AI because they think they know AI will do a better job than them.
No.
That's the thing, and that's why I keep saying that. I've obviously talked to a lot of filmmakers now on this channel, and I'm like, this is the time. This is the time to get your indie movie put together, and this strike is going to cause this gap. I think October onwards, there's going to be a major lull in movie production because we're not seeing it now. We're seeing the stuff that's already done, but I think sort of October onwards, we're going to see this major drop, and there's the gap that the indie market can fill in. And the minute you show people that don't need Hollywood anymore, and I would even go as far to say, get in touch with your local cinema and get many festivals happening if you're filmmakers. And that would get, that would get people through the door.
Yeah, that's right.
Do many horror conventions, with a movie. So you could even have tables at the front with a few horror authors, just do and it doesn't have to just be horror. No, there's other indie filmmakers out there. Obviously, I don't care because I'm a horror fan, But you can do that too. You can do for sci-fi or fantasy, and do an independent movie, have a wee bit of a mini event, invite people, and do it with us. You could, the old school Hollywood, where something was released, and the reason for the different releases because the thing actually traveled, so the stars all went.
Right.
So you could do that. You could have like a wee mini tour.
Yeah, wouldn't that be cool? Hey, you might be onto something.
But that's
I
don't know why. Why does it take a daft idiot like me to think of these things? There's smarter people than me out there. Come on.
They just can't be bothered, and you know what you like. We can see what's going on, sort of.
But with it, there's always opportunity, and it just, me, I'm always banging on about promote yourself and flipping use the channel, flipping get on board. There's loads of ways to do it, and a lot of people are like, I don't have a book out right now, so I can't say anything. It's like, I don't have a movie out right now, but you can come on and talk, and you can build it into the conversation. Like your latest anthology just out.
Yeah. So
which has a name.
It is called Remains to be Told. I've got a short story in there called Buried Secrets. It's a New Zealand horror anthology. So it's my first New Zealand anthology. So it's going to be I've got the book launch on the 9th of November. So that is with Lee Murray. She is the editor and the publisher of this, and I'm really, really super excited that she's invited me to be a part of it. So, and I will keep you in touch on that. Let you know.
Definitely, and we'll do it as well.
Yeah.
We were featuring your stories all the time. It was great, and then I know you had to knuckle down and you had a load of stuff on, but now it's starting to come to fruition, so we can start going. Yay, Dell's doing stuff. Celebrate it.
Yeah, I know, right?
But in between, that's what I'm saying. There's always opportunity. Just talk, and people don't forget who you are.
Yeah.
You can't forget this lady. She's brilliant.
Yeah. Colin, I was actually given a scholarship a couple of days ago.
Mm-hmm.
For a writing workshop for 12 weeks, which is all about myths and mythology and legends and fairy tales and monsters. So it's going to be quite cool. Yeah, so that'll just add to my writing repertoire and broaden my horizons. So yeah,
brilliant.
I'll keep you all up to date on how that's going too. So
yeah, that's all right. Every time you get a chance to do something or expand yourself imagination wise and you learn new skills, it's always good. And thankfully we've got people like Peter Jackson to look at, because if we didn't have people like him, I think the world would be a lot less.
Oh, absolutely. Yep, I believe you.
But because he is responsible for, I remember these lines as a kid, like the two best lines in any movie ever, I would argue. And it's when Lord Crumb's giving the speech to his troops, and then it's explaining the plot that this is an intergalactic food chain, and he's talking about basically it's equivalent of all them Burger King people think they've got it, but we're going to come back on the market again, and it's that whole speech. I love his character. I do. He's just the gravitas and the straight playing, but playing a completely daft character is wonderful. But after all that's happened, this is where obviously they've all sneaked in to find out what's going on and rescue Giles. He's sitting in a barrel with an apple in his mouth.
An apple sellotape.
Sellotape, yep. You're just like, fair play to the actor for doing that. Actors wouldn't do that today.
No.
They'd be too precious.
Absolutely not. I want a stunt double for that. I don't want an apple in my mouth.
Well, actually, in fairness, though, the folks at Acrostar would do it. They're cool. We've talked to some of them guys. They're on board. They get it. And definitely Calvin's bunch with 7th Street Productions. They do all that sort of mad stuff. So once again, the indie horror scene,
excellent,
embraces all this. But yeah, sitting there in a barrel like vegetables, fucking apple tape, just playing out that scene. There's no way he jumped in and out of that barrel. He was in there. He had to be in there for the time. There's no way you could get him out without spilling all the water.
I hope it was warm water at least.
But yeah, that's you don't see that today. But no, Professor Crumb, they died today, murdered by some real arseholes. I remember hearing that for the first time and I'd lost it. I said I was 10. I was just like, yes.
It was wicked line. Yeah.
I'm still that is still one of the best lines, and the way it was delivered.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still holds today. I still laugh at it and I'm like, yes. Mm-hmm. And then we'll get the scene where Robert this is how to make the grill, it's talking about this stuff. So we don't even see, did Robert eat the people beforehand? We didn't see that scene.
No, I don't know.
So we're basically left to imply that Robert has eaten some of the townsfolk, and then he's carried in. And we get the spewing, like
Oh,
they knock out
oh.
the guy with the bowl, and the guy sticks on Frank sticks on the blue shirt that sneak in, and they give him the bowl, and then the scenery just basically barfs into the bowl. And the steam, like you see the steam and stuff coming off it, I'm like, bloody hell, that is
So real. It's so authentic. It's
I keep talking about this, but I watched Insidious the Red Door in the cinema.
yeah.
And there's a scene in that where it's like the vomiting scene, the ghost in the vomiting. And the audience were all like, oh, and I am just in stitches. Because I've seen this, and I've seen The Exorcist, and I've seen tons of other movies that have done it better. That was cheesy as hell.
That was
In the
right.
Insidious, it was just
Insidious.
I laughed. I was buckled, and there were people actually looking at me because the cinema was full.
And you're laughing,
and I'm just like, bah! Like the state of that. This one, I was laughing, but I was like going, oh, you know, that.
I don't want to see it, but I want to see it, but I don't want to see it.
Like the consistency of that. And I think I remember that making, like, he talks about this, how he made, you know, proper love and attention went into this whole scene. But the steam, like the man has got the steam coming up. And then obviously Lord Crumb comes down, he's all like, oh, excellent bouquet and stuff. And you're just, you know, the slapstick comedy, you're waiting for the setup.
Oh, yeah.
And you know it's coming. And you're just waiting for it, and you're just like, no, he's not, you know, and he puts it away for a second, and it's, if it did that today, the strike that scene out for half an hour and you get bored, you know, before the punchline. Yeah. But the timing is so brilliant for this.
This movie will always be remembered for that scene.
Yep. And the second line, like,
and the line.
Oh, aren't I lunky? I got a chunky bit. Like, there's no dialogue like that anymore. No dialogue even close to that.
No.
Like, in movies ever.
No, because it just wouldn't work. It only worked for him, right? Or for people who are doing this type of genre. It's just like, I mean, even then, I don't know if they would have got away with it. I mean, it's one of the most goriest, sickest, horrible scenes ever, and it's done so well.
That's because we've all seen vomiting scenes before. We've all seen vomiting scenes before, but the way they did this, and I think it's the steam and the consistency and just that, and then obviously Robert's character, Peter Jackson's down in the ground, and he's, oh, you've done well, Robert, and he's there just all over, just all pleased with himself, and you're like, oh man, this is wrong.
It was. Do you think they used gummy drop ice cream?
I can't remember. There is a making of this movie. I seen it years ago. It wasn't on I thought it was on the DVD, but the version I bought didn't. It just doesn't show it, which annoyed me. Because he does talk about this and how he put it together and how many attempts it took him to get the right consistency, because there's like about 100 different trials.
Wow.
He didn't, you know what I mean? He didn't mess about. He wanted that scene perfect.
As sick as possible.
And he knew what he wanted.
Yeah.
And it was all about the, you know, the mixtures and stuff. And so it's details like that.
It is. They're wonderful details, aren't they? They're just...
and it's all splattered. Like, I probably haven't even covered half of them. Like, with like, there's so many of those little details splattered throughout the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then obviously Frank's like edging away, trying to get away, but it's like, nah. The one that has the hat on.
Yeah.
Oh, and you're like, oh god.
No.
The Daphne, and then he explains the suits. They're like, yes, we have to remain in our human form. I know they're uncomfortable and that you make it difficult to move. And straight away explains the movement and the awkwardness.
Yes.
And you're like, that's brilliant. Like, they would not. there's so many filmmakers that don't have the intelligence to explain things in such a way.
Yeah, or
They
they're
would
just lazy. They're lazy, right? They just think, leave it up to interpretation.
or they over-explain. So they over-explain to the point where yes, I get it. Okay, you're still going on.
Yeah.
Okay, right. This
Don't
is
have
like
to bash me over the head with it. I got it. Yeah.
It's either one of two directions, and you're like, come on.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah, you're right. No middle ground.
Yeah. This is clipped smart dialogue. And it tells you know everything. You don't need to read a book. You don't need to read an article. You don't need to read the making of to understand this story.
No.
You didn't need to see the intergalactic restaurant. That's what they'll probably do today. They'd have a video link to the intergalactic restaurant to let you know it was a food chain.
Yeah, exactly.
They would have to go that depth. They couldn't. Can't use this, but this guy just using a few lines gives the whole plot, and it's brilliant.
Yeah. Well done.
That's what I mean. And the action and all this as well. Like there's movies with humongous budgets. Don't even do it as quarter well as this.
No. Just the amount of work that would have gone into making this on such a tiny budget. It's
and
ridiculous.
Part-time. So also don't forget as well, because this is made over 4 years, it's not like it was a full day. It's like doing a few hours at a time, coming back to it, still keeping the story beats. Because this should have been disjointed as hell.
Yes, it could have.
You think about the time scale and what it took, and coming back and doing it in spare time and stuff. This shouldn't have been as tight as it was. So why can't studios with basically stupid amounts of budget, unlimited, and the time and the purpose-built sets, why can't they tell good stories?
They just don't have the... I don't know. I wouldn't say intelligence. I don't know. They just don't have the creativity that Peter's a more ground-rounded sort of person. Yeah. He can act. He can direct. He can produce. He can do effects. He can do music. He can do
because he's primarily an effects. That's why he came into. He's an effects artist.
Yes.
It just happened that he wanted to make his own movie, and it was it was a project of love.
Yeah.
Part-time, but his primary thing was special effects.
Yeah, I think his commitment, his dedication, his persistence is what sets him apart from other people. I think, you've got a budget of $5 million or $50 million, and I don't know, too many cooks in the too many chefs in the kitchen. That's what I think.
Yeah. I want to believe 114 hasn't seen this movie either. It's like, we've had this discussion. I'm like, yeah, go watch it. And Dale's like, no, hang on. So, if you watch horror movies and you don't mind a bit of gore and splatter, go for it. However, if it's your first train ride, maybe a bit of caution's urged. I think we've come to that agreement.
Yeah.
Because I just, that part of my brain's disconnected. I'm like, he'll be fine. That's okay.
Yeah, no.
Dale's the voice of reason.
Voice of reason. Yeah.
Whoa there, Sunshine. Just, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Then we'll go back to Derek, because that's a whole separate plot here. I had to look that car up. That Ford Anglia.
Oh, right. The Ford Anglia wheelchair conversion.
Yeah, because I actually thought when I first saw it, because I've never seen one like in real life.
Neither. No.
So I thought he welded something on the top, and they went, "Oh, why did you build that?" And he has the Beatles in the front, cut out cardboards of the Beatles because he's up in the hatch.
I know. How ingenious was that to use the Beatles, considering what he did later with the Beatles documentary? It's like, did he know back then that he was?
Of course he did. This guy's not.
Of course he did, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Brilliant. I'm going to give you a teaser for a video I'm going to make 20 years from now, 30 years from now. documentary on the Beatles. Brilliant. He's just bloody brilliant.
He knows what he wants to do, and he has this is somebody with a vision.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see it in his early stuff, but like I said, we can, as fans, we can sort of see it. But a normie watching this stuff is just going to get freaked out and go, ah!
Yeah. Full on. Yeah. But I looked up the car too, because after you'd said that, it was like, oh, actually, it was a real car? You mean they actually didn't just put it together? Wow.
No, it existed and it had a purpose. And I'm like, why aren't they going about that? That's weird, because stuff, stuff was invented back in the day for wheelchair users, but apparently until 2016, nobody cared. And it's only now. And there's nothing that intuitive now. Like, even the big cars and stuff, they're all cumbersome.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
And over-expensive.
Yes, absolutely.
In fact, I think they're discriminatory, because they make these things and they're almost like space-age wagons to get a wheelchair in the back. And then there's the Ford Anglia. Basic car. There you go. That's it does what it needs to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Why wasn't this a mass production?
Yeah, weird. Very
Anyone
strange.
with a wheelchair, bump, has mobility.
Oh,
what happened?
Yeah, you could use it as a wagon to go on
and
holiday.
You could carry, and also not only was it wheelchair friendly, you could take passengers, because the Beatles cutouts were in the passenger seats at the front.
They were.
So
how was that? It's like a ship.
You could live a normal life and actually be in charge and give people a lift and be a member of society. And what the hell happened?
Gone. Yeah.
Yes, Peter Jackson is the guy that made Lord of the Rings. The reason why we're going through this anthology, one of the questions we are asking for like these first 5 or 6 movies is, how the hell did he get Lord of the Rings? Because these movies are mental. When we go to the next one, Meet the Feebles, oh my god, like, how? That's the question, is because if you're coming in from a normie perspective, you're going to watch these movies and goes, oh, that's not the same person. And plus, Peter Jackson acts on this himself. I know you've just joined the stream, but just a bit of backfill. Very much just joining in as well, because I see the wee counter's going up nicely here.
Wow.
People jumping in, which is great. These are all welcome. Thanks for joining us. Not only he acts these crazy characters, crazy movies, but what we're demonstrating as well, I hope, is that there's severe intelligence, like there's extreme intelligence shown, cleverness, tight written scripts, actual references to time scales and travel, that this movie stands up. Where modern movies that don't bother with all that stuff, like the basics, and rely on big budgets and flashy stuff, you've actually forgotten a lot of movies before you've walked out of the cinema. Like, before the end of the movie, you've forgotten what you've watched.
Yep. I totally agree. Yep.
And this isn't effects. This isn't money. This is made in flipping loose change.
Yeah. Off the side of a cliff, no less.
But it holds up. In fact, I'd say it outshines a lot of movies today.
It does. Yep. Really does.
But this is there's the 2 bits of equipment in this, and he's just taking the mic. Derek's chainsaw.
God.
So many times up to the place. It's even got a keypad.
I think that was homage to the mafia. Perhaps. What do you think?
Just something behind it. It's not done randomly,
Nothing in this movie is.
No, there's not. You'd think it was a little random stuff thrown together at first glance, but when you start to dive in, it's not. Everything he does, he's got purpose. Even Dead Alive, the same thing. It's everything's done with purpose, and You watch this, and like I said, when we do Meet the Feebles, and that's different again. It's animated, it's puppets,
Yeah.
and like that's when we get that one, that's going to be another fun deep dive. But yeah, it opens up a velvet case with his chainsaw, and you're like, who does that? And this is before he gets like falls off a cliff. So this guy's already cracked in the head. He's a scary person. Derek is a scary character.
He actually is. He is a scary character indeed. Yeah. Yep. And that only is pushed further with the velvet case. I mean, God blimey. Who came up with that? That was brilliant.
But it's those details. Once again, those details that went into the effort for a quick throwaway scene. He could have easily just pulled it out and went, rah, but no. That was done with purpose. And it just adds the same as Aussie's RPG.
Oh, I knew there was going to be something in that box in the boot. But Benjamin and I both said bazooka.
I thought it was I remember when I first watched it thinking bazooka, but then even that was a hit because bazookas were the thing of the 80s.
Yes.
But no, he went RPG. So even then he's like, that'll be the thing of the future.
Yes, exactly. Isn't that amazing?
Because that's the one. RPG! You know what I mean? Just
I mean, wow, where did they get all that stuff? I don't know. Where'd they get all that stuff from? It was just well done.
There's quite a, I think they've got, like, the Sterling submachine guns, like, they look as if they're deactivated. Funny enough, because I was out driving today, and there must be a convention on, because I've seen a lot of, like, World War I and World War II stuff driving down the motorway. So there must be a convention. So, those sort of reenactors, they get, you know what I mean, they got the license and all, and decommissioned weapons, and they really go. I remember somebody said, you know, the ones that do live in history. So they'll dress up in like proper World War I or World War II gear.
Yep.
And they'll have a flipping Panzer, you know what I mean, and they'll have it firing blanks, you know, and for display, and people are behind. Have you ever been to one of those?
No.
You should. New Zealand's crazy for them as well. They have loads of conventions.
Oh,
it's a big thing in the UK, but New Zealand as well.
Wow, no, I had no idea.
Yeah, so I think that's where they got a lot of stuff from, because there are collectors and they do it for reenactment. But remember somebody saying the thing that each of the guys taking part in those are in the equivalent of an Armani suit, because it's about $1,000 or $2,000 to get all that gear, the authentic stuff, and you know, wear it.
Yeah.
So it's you know what I mean, buying an Armani suit would be cheaper than hobbyists.
Far out.
But yeah, even the details with the weapons and the fact that when they're pulling them out of the back, they're checking them, they're loading, you know, they're doing the correct drills.
Yes, absolutely.
How many war movies and soldier movies are just done so badly now, and they're actually just off the cuff doing everything correctly?
I know.
And they're doing like, I suppose we better put the gear on, you know, not being, we're super soldiers. It's like, I suppose better we have to.
Yeah, no, right.
And that's why I say as well, there's action movies with 3 times the budget, 10 times the budget that are nowhere close to this. The one where he's sliding across the deck, the veranda.
Oh my gosh!
You know somebody's got behind him,
and he got it so perfectly. Yeah.
How many takes do you think that took? Because no way that was, you know, that was
a few, I'd say, to get that exactly right. That was just amazing. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, and all just everything kicking off, and we're handing these out, you know, and you got the guy patrolling, holding the magazine of the AK, and the things on his shoulder, he's holding it by the magazine because they're like aliens and they don't know how these, because there's no ray guns in this. They're just like, is this how it works?
Yeah, oh God, brilliant. Brilliant. Oh, were they aliens yet, or were they? No, they were still humans.
Still humans going about. Right. It's not until everything kicks off.
Yeah, that's right.
And Crumbs gets shot.
Yep, that's right.
They're like, nah, that's the human suits. This isn't working.
Yeah,
we're getting. And that's basically what it is. They all ditch the human suits. Like, yeah, right. We're gonna get these. We're getting annihilated. Fucking rip, you know.
Oh, and aren't they hideous looking aliens?
But they're brilliant. They're so well done. And then the way he's done it with the prosthetics and that is you can understand they're stuffed into this human suit. And
Yes.
the movement and everything's then explained perfectly. Because once they come out, their movement changes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you see
and
them where they go from lurching zombies to right, and they're running about and doing everything right, and then they get almost get the upper hand.
Yeah.
And that was clever.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. Something you wouldn't really imagine would be. I don't know. I wouldn't have imagined they looked like that, but they did, and they looked great.
Yes, and then the movement that went with it.
Butt cheeks.
Oh, they were just fantastic.
I know.
And it wasn't just, it's a whole squad of them, and you're like, oh, there we go.
Yes. Well done. He's got a brilliant mind. He seriously does. Just they do. Whoever.
Yeah, because that was
him and Tim did it. Yeah, so did all those special effects and the prosthetics and the
yeah, but that and combined with the storytelling.
Yeah,
because we've seen movies with lighting effects.
Yep, it wouldn't have worked.
No,
but this worked. Yeah.
And there's a reason we can still stick it on and talk about it today, and somebody 10 years from now can stick us on and talk about it.
Exactly right.
It's just one of those classics, and it
is.
It's brutal. It's visceral. It's gross.
Yeah.
But it's so much fun.
Yeah, it's such a good movie.
Absolutely, and that's why I laugh. Everyone's like, "Who's this Peter Jackson fella?" I'm like, "Really? You're getting bad taste, guy? That's who you're getting to do this." What the hell happened there? But we will find out. This doesn't even after the big battle scene, and then decides the whole house is a spaceship. Why the retractable lawn?
What? I did not get that. I've got no idea what the fake lawn's for. Why?
He's like, crank. And the fact they use old human technology, just how did that happen?
The cranker, oh my god. The what? Oh gosh, blimey. Yeah, really well done. Yeah. But I wasn't expecting the house to be the spaceship. It's brilliant.
It still isn't.
I still do not get the lawn bit. I've tried to rack my brains. I don't get it.
I think it was just he wanted something funny.
Well, it was funny. It was.
Like he's this is a comedy at the end of the day, and he just wants some daft stuff thrown in. Moments of levity, I think, to balance out the goriness and the the violence. Just you get some things like that, and you're just like, oh, okay, I guess it makes sense in the alien's mind.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, and then we get the obviously he's escaping, and we get to the final scene, flipping Derek again, and you're like, I forgot, because I always remember the scene where Derek's in the cockpit, but I'd forgotten the scene of how he got there.
Oh, that was.
I think that was the goriest scene in the whole movie.
It's a rebirth.
So basically, he just cuts through his. He jumps into the alien head first, the chainsaw through the head, just straight through. I mean, even doing that scene alone, that must have taken some doing.
That must have taken a lot of doing.
That was not an easy scene to pull off.
No, and really, was the chainsaw going or was it not going? It was kind of like, God, you have to wonder the safety, the safety around all these things.
I don't think they were too bothered. I honestly don't think they were too worried about safety because, what I mean, we've seen enough evidence that that was kind of, never mind. As long as we get this done.
Oh, that was a horrifying end. It really was. It was. I actually, because Gabby, my twin sister, she watched it yesterday because she was just like, "Oh, you forgot to mention this about Evil Dead last time," and oh, not Evil Dead, Dead Alive. You forgot this and you forgot that. So she said she'll watch, and I said, "Just be warned about the very last scene, okay? Just make sure you're not eating when you're watching it." So,
but isn't it funny that 80s effects, like these
they're
are
so well done. They just
even today, you're like, whoa.
I mean, do people nowadays, when they're making movies, do they make brain matter out of rice or whatever the hell they?
That's the point I've made, and even when I'm talking to indie directors, I
Yep.
say to them, okay, where's your special effects reel? And someone will go, what? I'm like, right, this is what made us love horror movies. We used to watch the special effects reel. Basically, a documentary would come out, and the special effects guys and girl, you know what I mean, guy, I use a generic term, but the special effects folks, they were the mad scientists, and they did the reel about how they made stuff, and they're so proud of it, and everything was different, and it was all like, look at the Hellraiser series. I forget, Chris, I think his name is, the special effects guy that did all the Hellraiser movies, even the ones that didn't have Doug Bradley, because he just loved the franchise, not and he'd come off other movies to do it, just because he had it was like his baby, doing the effects. But that's what draws you into the movie. That's what makes you feel part of it. So, for anyone that's making movies, remember why we love this stuff, and it's those folks that make the magic in the background, and them telling their stories and the excitement, and it can't be faked. When somebody's faking it, it was the enthusiasm. It wasn't the actors, because an actor's an actor, and nowadays nobody wants to hear from actors because they've kind of soured the milk. But the special effects folks, they're the ones with a genuine passion, and they're the ones that working almost 24 hours a day to get a certain, they want it done right, and it's that vision. And if you watch I'll have to look it up, see if I can find it online. I'll maybe post it in the comments if I do. But the special effects for this, the thing that Peter did, the interview and showing that, even the matchstick scene of the house blowing up with the RPG, and like I said, it's a bit of clothesline. He talks about that. Yeah, that was a model house, and it was on a clothesline.
Brilliant!
To do the RPG, the two of them.
Oh gosh! Yeah, because that's a real house. That's a real homestead, obviously.
Yeah, and then there's a model of it.
They made the model of it. Oh wow! Okay.
But in the model, did you notice that all the veranda were Union flags?
Yeah.
Where it wasn't in the big house, but when it goes to the model taken off, they're all Union.
Cool.
Little things like that, I might do if you went through and looked all the little Easter eggs them up, but that's what we need. And that's why I'm saying independent movies have a chance if they look at the past formulas, and not just the movie making, but the marketing. I think we need some old school marketing done, where people are talking about how they made stuff in the movie, and that bring that excitement back. And I almost guarantee this year the indie scene could just blow up.
Yeah, it's a bit of a worry, isn't it? What's going to be happening? But,
36 years old this movie is.
Yeah.
Still just as enjoyable now.
Absolutely.
I had a blast.
Yeah, I had a blast too. It was great. He's so amazing. He really is. Him and his team. Yeah.
I forget the name. I know it's Wingnut Films, like did the production.
Wingnut.
But he has a separate company, the special effects company. And I forgot
Weta Workshop. Weta Workshop.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So yeah. So, and that's a place you can go in and have a look at all his collection of stuff from all the movies, and It's quite a neat tour, actually.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, no, he's this is fun. This was a fun movie.
Well,
It was.
if I can arrange bird sitters sometime, that may be something in the future. Go and
Yeah.
travel. I don't know. I've kind of got a bit sick of traveling recently, so I'm just become a bit of a
Oh, well, you're
homebody.
more than
But I'll
welcome
need
to
it.
come over and
I'll
crash
get the
on our
bug again.
couch.
I'm sure. I think in a year or two, I'll like start getting itchy feet and like, oh, I've got to go somewhere.
Come to New Zealand for a little bit, Colin. You can stay with us.
There you go. You heard it here.
Yeah,
Do a live stream
exactly.
from New Zealand. That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Do the tour. Yeah, that could be. Yeah, that could be a plan.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
between now and then, we have a lot of movies to cover,
We do.
and
Beat the Feebles next year.
yep,
Ooh.
that's different again.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you go. Dale, once again, thanks very much. Always a pleasure. Honestly, great to have you on. And yeah, it's absolutely hoot.
Thanks for
Just
having me.
such a pleasure to do this. Yeah, everyone. Yeah, God, we've went for near 2 hours. Stop saying, talk about fanboying over a movie.
Oh, crikey.
Yeah, we've been going at it. Everyone in the chat, everyone who's watching us on Twitter, Facebook, no, not Twitter, sorry, Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. Thanks again. Always great to have you on board. Facebook, you need to step up the mark because YouTube and Twitter are winning in the comments. Just to let you know.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The chats are getting involved. It's easy. That's why we live stream these places. We will arrange it. It'll be soon, but yeah, we'll arrange the next one. That'll be coming up. We're doing this. We're going to do the whole catalog, so some of it won't be horror movies, but I think we need to understand the genius that is Sir Peter Jackson because this man's a living legend. He's an absolute gem.
He is.
And I think the more we watch, especially his early stuff, we are seeing like there's not very many creatives out there, true geniuses. And I would dare say, I'd put my neck out there and say, this guy's one of them.
Yep. Absolutely.
So there you go, folks. If you want to keep up to date and obviously make sure you're subscribed to whatever platform you're watching on. Make sure you're here for the chat. Take part. That's what it's here for. It's a lot of fun. A load of conversations going on there while we're blabbing away. That's what it's all. It's all community. We're here to enjoy ourselves. And as I say, keep up to date with the channel. Do the typey clicky things. And until next time, keep it creepy. Keep it horrific.